They've done it again. Our government has come out with their new dietary guidelines. Remember the food guide pyramid? The one you've probably looked at and studied in countless health classes? Well, it's gone, replaced with a brand new graphic and a new website. Choose MyPlate.gov. What are we to make of this newest piece of art? We'll get into that later. But for now, we can summarize the main recommendations of the new dietary guidelines. First, maintain a calorie balance over time to achieve and sustain a healthy weight. That means to maintain a healthy weight, we need to balance the calories we take in from food with the calories we burn as fuel through physical activity. Second, focus on consuming nutrient-dense foods and beverages. Nutrient-dense foods have lots of vitamins and minerals and very little sugar, sodium, additives, or unhealthy fats. Haven't we been hearing that for as long as we've been alive? So why bother? Well, partly because there is new information, and the more we know about the details and act on them, the healthier we will be. And even though the new guidelines have been in the news a lot, how much do most of us really know? Well, let's do a little random sampling. What do you know about the government's new dietary guidelines?
Dietary guidelines?
What do you know about the new dietary guidelines?
Not much.
What do you know about the new dietary guidelines?
Well, I didn't realize there were old dietary guidelines.
Okay, you can see the problem. We've got our work cut out for us. The advice may seem pretty obvious, but a lot of people don't know it, or if they do know, they ignore it, and that probably means most of you. So what can I do as host of this video to help you start paying attention to what the experts are telling us? Well, I could tell you that 1/3 of children and teens are either overweight or worse, obese, and that this puts them at much greater risk of being overweight or obese as an adult. I could also tell you that a poor diet and lack of physical activity raise the risks of diabetes or heart disease or cancer. Yeah, I could tell you all those things, but let's face it, most of you out there probably think you're immortal and that through a remarkable combination of good genes and just plain luck, you're one of the minuscule minority that is immune to the risks that the rest of us mere mortals face. So if that doesn't grab you, maybe something more in the here and now might. Here's a quick quiz. Do you really feel you look as good as you can? Do you really have as much energy as you'd like? Do you really feel that you function in school or in sports or in just everyday life as well as you'd like? That you're close to performing at your personal best? Maybe you do, but a lot of us don't. Probably the vast silent majority of us. So let's get back to the newest dietary guidelines. You can be more energetic. You can perform better both physically and mentally. And you can look better. The guidelines in that MyPlate graphic can help you get there. So try to park your skepticism for the next 20 minutes and keep an open mind. Let's start by looking at the first recommendation. Maintain calorie balance over time. A lot of people think that calories is a dirty word, but the truth is that we need calories. Calories are the fuel for everything we do that requires energy. We need calories to move, breathe, think. In other words, simply being alive requires calories. The problem isn't calories. The problem is that too many of us pack in more calories than we need for energy, and these extra calories get stored as fat. And a big part of the reason why is how and what we eat. Case in point, the Burger King Triple Whopper with cheese. Burger King advertises this behemoth as being 3 times as tasty as a regular burger. What's in it? 3 beef patties, 2 slices of American cheese, lettuce, mayo, tomatoes, pickles, onions, and the bun. So how many calories do you think is in this Triple Whopper? The correct answer is a whopping 1,230 calories. You'd think Burger King might be just a little embarrassed about this humongous gastronomic offering, but surprise, surprise, it's all about sales, particularly to Burger King's core market, the all-important 16 to 24-year-old male. In a USA Today article, a restaurant researcher was quoted as saying this: "Many young males couldn't care less about nutrition." Let me repeat that again real slowly. Many young males couldn't care less about nutrition. Wow! Do you see what I'm up against here? Okay, guys, think about this. Imagine you're a real stud, let's say 6 feet tall, weighing in at about 180 pounds. If you're reasonably athletic and physically active, the number of calories you need in a typical day is about 2,800. That 1,230 calorie triple whopper, plus the large soft drink you washed it down with, and a medium order of fries would total about 2,050 calories. That's nearly 3/4 or 75% of your total calorie needs right there. Add on lunch, dinner, and assorted snacks, and it wouldn't take much to put you way over 2,800 calories. But let's be conservative. Let's say you eat really moderately the rest of the day so that altogether you take in only 200 calories more than you need. Well, at 200 calories a day, in a little over a month, you're going to put on an extra couple of pounds. Not much, you say? In about a year, that adds up to about 20 pounds. 2 years, 40 pounds. 3 years, well, you get the idea. It doesn't take much for our stud here to look a little flabby. So that's where another recommendation of the new dietary guidelines come in. Enjoy your food, but eat less. That means avoid oversized portions. The guidelines suggest eating out less often, but when we do eat out, we should order smaller portions or share. There's another part to maintaining the healthy calorie balance the guidelines recommend, besides the calories we take in or what we eat. We also have to consider the calories we use up for energy. Here too, the guidelines offer a specific recommendation. Increase the calories you expend through physical activity. But wait a minute. The title of this video is the newest dietary guidelines. Diet, right? Diet is about food, so why bring in exercise here? Well, you can't separate diet from exercise. It's really about lifestyle. And let's face it, the lifestyles of many teens in today's digital age focus on a lot of things other than exercise. According to a recent survey, kids between the ages of 8 and 18 spend more than 7.5 hours a day watching TV, glued to a computer, and playing video games. And that 7.5 hour total doesn't count the hour and a half kids spend texting or the 30 minutes chatting on a cell phone. Remember, calories in themselves aren't bad. We need calories for everything we do. In fact, not getting enough calories can be just as harmful to our bodies as getting too much. The important thing is to balance the calories we take in, what we eat, with the calories we burn as fuel. Meet Stephanie. Let's see how well she balances her calories. We'll start with what she eats. Over the course of a day, the calories she consumes in food add up to 2,425. Now let's look at what she uses up. You burn some calories no matter what you do, even sleeping. This is called your basal metabolic rate. If Stephanie were to stay in bed all day, she'd burn around 1,400 calories. This might be a tempting idea for some people, but Stephanie is a bit more ambitious than that and sleeps about 8 hours, burning about 450 calories. Just going to school, doing her homework, watching TV, and doing other moderate activities also burns calories. Total so far, 2,050 calories. In other words, she's used up about 375 calories less than she took in as food. Stephanie is still seriously out of balance here. But not to lose hope. Without even thinking much about it, Stephanie also puts in more than 60 minutes of more vigorous activity. 40 minutes of playing catch with a friend, 225 calories. Stephanie also walks to school and back each day. 15 minutes each way adds up to another 30 minutes and another 180 calories. Total calories burned up for energy, 2,455. So the number of calories Stephanie takes in and what she uses up are pretty much in balance, which is what the dietary guidelines want us to aim for. And the 60 or so minutes of physical activity really made a difference. 60 minutes may seem like a lot, but you can break it up just like Stephanie did, and there are lots of ways to do it. Here's what 60 minutes of different activities will do for somebody who weighs about 155 pounds. The new dietary guidelines also emphasize the other benefits of exercise. It builds strength. It's good for the heart. It's good for how we feel about ourselves. Exercise, in fact, may be the best natural antidote to feelings of stress, depression, and anxiety. But there's still more. The guidelines offer hope here for those of us who need to shed some pounds. They suggest that small changes in how we eat and exercise can lead to big results. Remember our out-of-shape stud and how eating only 200 calories a day more than what he burned for energy got him to this sorry state? Well, the good news for him, and many others, is that it can work the other way too. If he were to eat only 200 calories a day less than what he uses up for energy, he could lose those extra pounds without going on a crash diet. And if our reformed stud can do it, so can you. 200 calories a day is really doable. For example, you can save 100 calories by eating a ham sandwich instead of a ham and cheese sandwich. You can save 380 calories by cutting out one large soda. Instead of a large order of fries, eating a small order can save you 200 calories, or splitting that large order with a friend will save you 270 calories. And even fast food restaurants offer healthy alternatives. Eating a salad with grilled chicken and just a little dressing instead of a burger will save you tons of calories. And of course, on the activity side of the calorie equation, there are lots of simple ways of burning more calories. Walking rather than driving is a huge one. Okay, now let's get back to the other major recommendation we mentioned at the beginning of this program. Focus on eating nutrient-dense foods and beverages. Not all calories are equal. Case in point, Tom here is on the great jelly bean diet, eating nothing but jelly beans. He carefully restricts his intake to 2,600 calories a day. Yikes! I don't care if you restrict your daily diet of jelly beans to 2,600 calories. If you eat that many jelly beans, you're going to be one really sick puppy. Okay, I know nobody in his sane mind would ever eat just jelly beans, but I resorted to this exaggerated piece of theater to try to make a point. There's more to the newest dietary guidelines than just calculating calories. We've talked a lot about calories, but the fact is that not all calories are created equal. There are your weak, anemic, low-energy calories. And there are your nutrient-dense power calories. What's the difference between ordinary calories and nutrient-dense calories? Besides providing calories for energy, nutrient-dense foods provide us with vitamins and minerals and other nutrients we need to grow and be healthy. So does this mean you should never eat jelly beans? Hey, I like an occasional jelly bean. All it means is that there are some foods you should eat much more than others. And this brings us back to that MyPlate graphic. MyPlate is simply a way to get us to think about what goes on our plates so that we can make more healthy choices. It divides a plate into 4 sections that show what a healthy meal should look like. Fruits and vegetables take up half the plate, while the other side has one section for protein and another for grains. Dairy is seen to the side in a blue circle, much like a cup or glass. Let's see how each segment of the plate relates to the dietary guidelines, starting with vegetables. The guidelines recommend eating a variety because different vegetables contain different kinds of vitamins and minerals that are healthy for you. So you should be sure to eat more dark green vegetables like spinach and broccoli, orange vegetables like sweet potatoes and carrots, and also eat more dried beans and peas. The red segment on the plate is for fruits. Just as with vegetables, the key is variety so that you get the benefit of different vitamins and minerals. So eat a variety of fresh, frozen, canned, and dried fruits. The dietary guidelines suggest that we fill half our plate with fruits and vegetables. This is much more than most Americans eat now. The orange section of the plate is also a big one. It's for grains. The guidelines stress that at least half those grains should be whole grains, which are in foods like brown rice, oatmeal, and whole grain bread. All these foods are great for providing lots of energy. The purple part of the plate is for protein, which is important to help us grow. Poultry and meats are good sources of protein, but keep the portions to 1/4 your plate and make sure they don't have a lot of fat in them. The guidelines also stress varying our protein choices. Seafood is a healthy choice. So are foods like dry beans, nuts, and seeds, which also contain healthy oils. Finally, off to the side of the plate is a smaller blue circle that represents non-fat or low-fat milk and milk products like yogurt. The guidelines recommend skim milk or 1% milk because they have the same amount of calcium and other important nutrients, but less fat and calories than higher fat milk. So, to sum it up, MyPlate shows us foods we should eat more of, particularly fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. But the newest dietary guidelines also recommend eating less of some foods. Notice there are some things that are not on MyPlate, like foods that have a lot of added sugar, such as ice cream, candy, and sugary drinks. A single can of soda contains about 10 teaspoons of sugar, or about 150 calories. On average, teens consume more than 28 teaspoons of added sugar every day. That works out to about 476 calories. Over the course of a year, that adds up to about 90 pounds of sugar, or almost 158,000 calories. Teens who consume lots of added sugar risk heart problems and other health issues later in life. Because so many teenagers are drowning in sugar, one of the recommendations of the newest dietary guidelines is to drink water rather than sugary drinks. Another recommendation is to cut down on foods high in solid fats, which include saturated fats that are in cakes, cookies, ice cream, and candy. These are full of empty calories. And then there is another kind of unhealthy fat, trans fats. Trans fats are really evil. They can clog our arteries and lead to heart disease and other unhealthy things. What are trans fats? Well, I don't know how to break this to you gently, but trans fats are found in many foods that teens love to eat, including French fries and other fried goods, packaged baked goods like crackers and donuts.
Not donuts!
Yes, donuts. Most oils are high in unsaturated fats. In moderation, these are actually healthy for us. Among other things, they help control the unhealthy kinds of cholesterol in our bodies. But oils are also loaded with calories, which is why we should really limit how much we consume. The dietary guidelines also stress cutting down on foods that have a lot of sodium, found in salt. In small quantities, sodium is an important nutrient, but too much salt can lead to high blood pressure, which is associated with cardiovascular disease, congestive heart failure, and kidney disease. So check out how much sodium different foods have by looking at their labels, and choose foods with lower amounts. An easy method is to keep sodium to less than 400 milligrams per serving. There's much more to MyPlate and the dietary guidelines. You can get your own personal plate suggestions by going to this website. Type in some information about your sex, age, and how physically active you are. And then, if your computer doesn't crash, up comes your own personalized food plan, which you can also print out. Let's assume you're Stephanie here, an active 18-year-old. Her personal profile calculates that she needs about 2,400 calories a day. It also tells her how much of each kind of food to eat. For example, Stephanie's daily food plan calculates that she should eat about 3 cups of vegetables a day and 2 cups of fruit. It provides advice on how she can vary her fruits and vegetables each week. It also tells her that she should aim for 7 teaspoons of oils a day and limit the calories she takes in from extra fats and sugars to about 330 calories a day. To sum up, what the new guidelines are trying to promote is to make a variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains a bigger part of your diet, and to cut down on sugars and fats, particularly saturated fats and trans fats. When you think about it, it's a pretty simple message. But that's not the way most of us eat. Okay, I'm waiting for the fruits and vegetables here. Nope, bottle of cola. Tons of sugar right there. Ice cream, loads of sugar and saturated fats. Donuts, no need to comment. Cereal? That's healthy, right? Well, this cereal is low on fat, and it does have lots of whole grains, which are really healthy. But if you look at the label, you'll see that each serving also contains 10 grams of sugar. That's over 2 teaspoons and represents a really large chunk of what our daily sugar intake should be. Seriously, there is a lot of useful information on food labels, but you have to read them. Will the new dietary guidelines work to change the way people eat and exercise? Hopefully, we'll be able to answer that question in a few years. But for the time being, there are other questions that only you can answer. Are you willing to balance the calories that you eat with the calories that you use up? Are you willing to engage in vigorous physical activity? Are you willing to make wise food choices that take into account the different nutrients you need to stay healthy? All I can do is help provide the information. The rest is up to you.